Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to your full moon in Aries astrology predictions for the 12 zodiac signs. This full moon is happening on October 17 at around 7:25 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, so please make sure to adjust it to your time zone. But this is happening at 24 degrees in the sign of Aries. Now, what is very important about this full moon is that the ruler of the full moon, Mars, is in the sign of Cancer, not very strong in this sign, at 22 degrees, forming a square to this full moon, and at the same time opposing Pluto, which is sitting in the last degree of Capricorn. And Pluto is also squaring this full moon at a wider degree. So we have a very potent sky. There is a grand cross in the sky that requires a lot of confrontation, even arguments, power struggles also, and the need to express the identity and also our emotional world in a way that is respected by others, and in a way that is fiery, very even intimidating, and very expressive, because it is necessary. Okay, there is a big completion happening here in the areas of our lives where Aries resides or Aries rules. And so I will start to break down for each of the 12 zodiac signs what the scenarios could be. Please keep in mind that I'm a Western astrologer and I follow tropical zodiac. You can listen to your sun sign, your moon sign, your rising sign, but please keep in mind that you need to refer to the whole sign system for this video so that it can resonate more to you. Now, if you want to show support for my work, please remember to like, to subscribe, to share this video with people that you feel like are going to benefit from this. I wish you the best of luck. Please let me know in the comments how things are going in your life. I feel like we have a very potent sky. A lot of things could be happening for a lot of us. Please let me know how it's turning out to be for you. Now, let's start with the 12 zodiac signs. Hello, dear Aries suns, moons, and risings. Welcome to your full moon in your sign astrology predictions. This full moon is happening on October 17 at around 7:25 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you need to, please adjust it to your time zone. But for you, again, it's happening in your first house. It's happening at 24 degrees. If you have any planets or any points between 21 degrees to 27 degrees in the sign of Aries, that you are going to feel this the most. However, all Aries are definitely going to feel this energy very strongly. Now, what can this indicate for you? There is a need to express your identity and your self-image and your personal style in a very strong and profound way. They can even come across as intimidating for other people, for you Aries. And that is very necessary because this is a completion. The full moon is some kind of completion, and the need to express your identity can come and can stem from previous power struggles and situations that you felt like you were not being respected in the way how you should be, and especially from your family members, especially from authority figures, but also your partners. So this full moon is happening in an angular house, and Mars, the ruler of this full moon, and also your chart ruler, is squaring it from your 4th house of your family members. Pluto, on the other hand, is squaring this full moon from your 10th house of authority figures in your career. And the sun is opposite the full moon in your 7th house. So there is a need to embrace, love, and stand your ground when it comes to your identity, when it comes to your personality, when it comes to your self-image, your personal style, even your outward appearance, your physical body, Aries, to show people that you love yourself for who you are and to basically put them where they belong to be put. If they're not respecting you, if you feel like your identity and your personality has been compromised because of other people's expectation or because of your partners, family members, authority figures, toxic behavior towards you. And there is a major completion happening here. There could even be some kind of argument or some kind of discussion or situation that involves power struggles with very important people in your life. And as I mentioned, these can be family members, your boss at work, or your partner, that indicates some kind of completion here, some kind of standing your ground when it comes to expressing yourself and your identity. Now, the first house where this full moon is happening is also the house of pioneering, of initiating something new. So if you've been working to start your life afresh, to complete something new, then there is something that needs to be done first, that needs to end first when it comes to your identity and how other people see you and how you want other people to see you. There needs to be an ending so that there can be some kind of beginning. And if you look back into April 8th of this year, when we had the eclipse in your sign at 19 degrees, this can indicate some kind of ending because of a certain beginning that started back in April. And that eclipse in April can show effects up to 2 years. So this does not have to be a major ending, but it can indicate some kind of ending associated with that beginning back in April, okay? Now, where Pluto is sitting in the 29 degrees in your 10th house can indicate a desire for transformation and to come across as an authority figure and to show your power to other people in your life. But it could be that maybe family members are not taking that very well. People that you have emotional feelings for are not taking that very well. Even a partner is not taking that very well. So there is a need here to stand your ground, or it could indicate that the other person, your partner, your boss, or your family members are doing that to you, and so that kind of triggers you, and there is a need to express all these things in a very disruptive way so that something can end and you can kind of reinvent yourself at some point when it comes to your identity and your personality. But for you, Aries, this is like really activating all areas of your life. It's not just about you, it's a reinvention and a need to be realistic and to be straightforward and to be even intimidating with family members or your bosses or partners, or it could be that they are doing that to you with this full moon, and there is a need for something to end that can be associated with your identity or with some kind of relationship, a romantic or a business one, or with a family member or with an authority figure or career. You may be parting ways with one of these areas of your life. But as I've said to the other signs, Aries, whenever there's squares and oppositions, don't feel afraid. They really help you jump into the next thing very fast. They are a bit disruptive, but they are very beneficial in the long run. They are stronger than trines and sextiles, and you can achieve way more with trines and oppositions. And the squares here happening to Mars and Pluto are of your nature, of the Mars nature, of an Aries nature, okay? So I don't think this is intimidating for you. I think you can definitely bring into surface things that you've been wanting to bring when it comes to all of your important relationships in your life, okay? Now, I wish you the best of luck. I really hope this turns out to be very good for you. Again, the energy is very intense. We have a grand cross in the sky, but in the long run, this can turn out to be for the better. I wish you the best of luck, Aries. Please, if you liked and resonated with this video, remember to give it a like and to subscribe. Hello, dear Tauruses, Taurus suns, moons, and risings. Welcome to your full moon in Aries astrology predictions. This full moon, Tauruses, is happening on October 17 at about 7:25 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, so please make sure to adjust it to your time zone. But for you, it's happening in your 12th house. This full moon can bring into attention hidden enemies for a lot of your Tauruses. Where the full moon is, something is illuminated, something is brought to surface, and this happening in a hidden house can indicate something being brought into surface. Maybe hidden enemies, maybe secrets that you didn't know about before. Please look back at the time of April 8th eclipse, where we had the new moon eclipse happening here at 19 degrees in the sign of Aries, and now we're receiving this full moon that indicates some kind of completion. But the effects of that eclipse could last up to 2 years. So, this may not be a major completion, but it's definitely something big, because the ruler of the eclipse, Mars, is squaring this full moon. And there can be a lot of heated arguments and discussions and communications, because Mars is in the third house of communication. There could be a lot of things that are brought into spotlight, especially with hidden enemies. Now, the 12th house where this full moon is happening for you, Tauruses, can indicate a need to put into attention or bring into attention some kind of spiritual routine that maybe is not serving you anymore, that you felt like has been manipulating you, especially at the subconscious level in your mind. Also, because Mars is squaring, again, this full moon from the third house of your thinking process, but Pluto is also at a wider degree squaring this full moon. And Pluto is in your 9th house of higher belief system and your knowledge in general and philosophy about life. So if you felt like there is a spiritual path or religion that has been manipulating you, Tauruses, you may bring this into an end. There could be situations and opportunities to do so that take you outside of your comfort zone, that bring a lot of things into surface, that make you make some drastic decision to end this kind of manipulation or power struggles, even associated with spirituality, religion, and things that you believe in. Now, the 12th house where this full moon is also the house of karma. For some of you Tauruses, you may have some major karmic ending with this full moon. And I really hope that that's the case for most of you. This can indicate something that leaves your life, and it could happen up to 2 weeks after this full moon. Okay, maybe not exactly on the day, but it's predisposed to happen. And this can also indicate maybe endings with a relationship that has been more on the manipulative side or toxic side when it comes to your life. And that is because, again, Mars, the ruler of this full moon, is also the ruler of your 7th house of partnerships and relationships with other people. And this can be business people or marriage partners. So there can be some endings here, or even like secrets that come to surface that bring the ending, that initiate the ending. That's like, you may be like, I cannot take this anymore. And it could feel quite emotional in nature because the sun rules your 4th house of emotions, and the sun is always involved in full moons. So, there could be emotions coming up to surface, but especially secrets associated with partnerships. Now, the 12th house is also the house of isolation for some of you Tauruses. If you've been feeling like you were isolated, you didn't have as many friends or people in your life, then this full moon can indicate a completion. There could be like situations in your life, especially with your mentors, with people that you see as more intelligent than you, that you take advice from, but also your neighbors and younger siblings and like the community around you. There could be situations associated with them that is pushing you forward to leave that isolation world, to leave some kind of hiding, from the public eye, and to be able to, become more visible for other people. And it's going to feel stronger when you have the new moon in Taurus. But there's uncomfortable situations that are taking you out of your comfort zone, okay? This is a very tense sky, I have to say that, Tauruses. And although it's not affecting you as much or like directly, like, many other signs, it's still going to be significant because the squares are to the ruler of your 7th house of one-on-one relationships and partnerships, which is an angular house in your, in your chart. Now, this is kind of what I have for you, short and short. I wish you the best of luck, Tauruses. This full moon is happening right on my Venus, so I'm not excited about it because my Venus is in a T-square. So anyway, let's see what it's going to bring to me. But I wish you the best of luck, and please let me know in the comments how things are going in your life. And if you liked and resonated with this video and want to show some support, please give it a like, subscribe, share it with people that you think are going to benefit from this. And yeah, I'll see you on the next one. Hello, dear Geminis, Gemini suns, moons, and risings. Welcome to your full moon in Aries astrology predictions. This full moon is happening on October 17 at around 7:25 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, so please make sure to adjust it to your time zone. But for you, Geminis, it's happening in your 11th house at 24 degrees. This can indicate some major completions when it comes to your long-term dreams and goals for the future, Geminis. There is a lot of spotlight that's being put here, and could even be some power struggles that maybe you have with somebody that you have shared resources and finances with when it comes to your financial goals that you have together with someone else. There is a need to kind of sit down and talk about what do we need to do in the future? Where do I see myself 5 years, 10 years from now financially, so that I can take the necessary steps and take some kind of action and show some willpower to be able to make my dreams come true. And if you haven't been realistic in these long-term dreams and goals for the future, then this full moon is going to put a spotlight on that. And it's going to also highlight even self-sabotaging patterns and insecurities that you may have when it comes to finances, when it comes to the way how you make money and how you share your resources with somebody else. And the reason that I'm talking about, finances and shared resources and things like that is because the ruler of this full moon, Mars, is in the sign of Cancer, where it does not feel as comfortable at 22 degrees in a square to this full moon, and in opposition at wider degrees to Pluto, which is in your 8th house. So there's a financial focus for a lot of you Geminis here with this full moon. Now, another reason for that is because Pluto rules your 6th house of your job. And so for some of you Geminis, you may realize maybe that the work that you thought is going to provide you financial resources and abundance maybe does not feel like that, or this could indicate power struggles with co-workers, with people at work that are not benefiting you as much as you thought they would. And so there is a spotlight here again in what you want when it comes to your financial resources, where you see yourself in the future, and what dreams and goals do you have, and like what kind of action do you need to take to make these come true. Now, the 11th house where this full moon is happening is also the house of friends and acquaintances and people that know you. So for a lot of you Geminis, this can indicate some kind of ending, unfortunately, to some kind of friendship that has been more on the toxic side, where you felt like your self-confidence was attacked, or this individual or this group of people maybe brought into surface a lot of insecurities and fears that you have for yourself. And that is because, again, Mars is in the 2nd house of your self-confidence, and Pluto is in your 8th house of fear, self-sabotaging patterns, and traumas that we have in our lives. And so, again, if there is a friendship that has not been serving you anymore, that was more on the toxic side, that this can indicate a major ending associated with it. The 11th house is also the house of social media. For some of you Geminis, you may receive the spotlight maybe after you post something on social media that maybe is not as well received from others because of these squares. There could be some power struggles on the internet, maybe, fighting and texting on the internet to where you don't agree together about certain things. This could also be a scenario for some of you Geminis. Now, the moon rules your 2nd house, and just like every other full moon, there's going to be a lot of focus in your personal finances and personal resources, okay? I feel like for you Geminis, you have this financial world really activated with this full moon. But again, the energy is not that easy. There's a lot of tension. We kind of have like a grand square in the sky. But this too shall pass, okay? I don't want you to freak out or anything like that. I also do want to mention that this full moon can indicate some kind of completion related to something that was started back on April 8th of this year, when we had the eclipse at 90 degrees in the sign of Aries. This can indicate major completion. Now, one more thing is that this full moon is also happening next to Chiron, only 3 degrees away. That's considered a conjunction, which can indicate wounds being brought up, associated maybe with your friendships again, with your long-term dreams and goals for the future. Maybe you feel like you did not accomplish something because somebody did something, and you're kind of like the wounded healer, to where you understand your wounds, but you kind of want to heal from them. But this is very intense in nature, okay? It's not to where it feels soft and you can let go, there is something that could be happening, some situation, some kind of confrontation that could be happening that is not making you feel comfortable, because we have squares and oppositions, okay? But that's where the most growth comes from, definitely. I'll tell you that. This is what I have for you, Geminis, for this full moon in Aries. Please let me know in the comments how things are going in your life, and if you liked and resonated with this video as with the other ones, please show some support, like it, subscribe, share it with people that you think are going to benefit the most from this. And I wish you the best of luck. Hello, dear Cancer suns, moons, and risings. Welcome to your full moon in Aries astrology predictions. This full moon is happening on October 17 at around 7:25 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, but it's happening in your 10th house at 24 degrees. This is very important for you, Cancers, and one reason is because it's a full moon, and full moons and new moons always involve your planet, your ruling planet, but also because it's happening in a house that is the most visible one in your chart. So for a lot of you, Cancers, this can indicate major completions when it comes to some type of career that a lot of you Cancers may have had that maybe was not serving you anymore, that you felt like it's toxic, you felt like you were not expressing yourself freely, and you felt like you had to people please others so that you can get some benefits out of it. And that is because the ruler of this full moon, Mars, is in your sign, in your first house, and Mars does not feel comfortable in the sign of Cancer. The other reason for that is because Pluto is also squaring this full moon at a wider degree from your 7th house of your partnerships, collaborations, your one-on-one relationships with other people. So all of your angular houses are really activated with this full moon, Cancers. So please be careful and take care of yourselves, okay? Especially emotionally, and especially with you, because you know the full moon, the moon is you. Now, I don't want to scare you. I always say that when there's oppositions and squares in our charts, either by transit or by natal chart, these are wonderful opportunities to grow in a faster and more prompt speed than trines and sextiles. So this is a very strong opportunity for a lot of you Cancers to end something that is not serving you anymore, whether it is your career, whether it is your marriage, whether it is your relationship that is not serving you anymore. Okay, this part is important. I'm not saying that everybody should do this. I am saying that if there is something that has been toxic with the squares to Mars and Pluto, that has been toxic and that involved a lot of fights and power struggles, then this can be some great time to end something that is not serving you anymore, basically. For others of you Cancers, this can indicate some ending in the life of an authority figure in your life, maybe a boss, maybe due to power struggles, you and your colleagues and other people at work could witness this, because the 10th house is the house of authority figures, and the squares to these two planets, Mars and Pluto, can indicate some power struggles happening there, to where it gets very even vocal and like, you know, there's a lot of fighting that could be happening with bosses, but could be, you know, very visible to you and to others around you. This full moon in your 10th house can also indicate major completions about something that you have started and initiated back in April 8th of this year, where we had the eclipse in the sign of Aries at 90 degrees, so very close to this full moon. And there can be some major ending and completion associated with that beginning back in April 8th. Okay, please look back in your life and see, you know, if you started something back then. Now, as I mentioned, Mars and Pluto are opposite each other. Mars is in your first house, Pluto is in your 7th house. This can indicate a lot of power struggles with maybe your business partner or a romantic partner, to where you're not on the same page with each other. I do have a very good Cancer sun and rising friend who is going through power struggles with a friend, actually, who is also a business partner. So this is definitely showing for him as a scenario. But there is a need here to bring into surface misunderstandings and things that you're not on the same page with somebody else. Therefore, you need to kind of have some kind of completion so that you don't waste time basically with people that are not serving you in the long run, with people that do not benefit in your identity, who you are as a person, people that do not respect your boundaries, people that do not respect your power. Okay, Mars is in your first house of your identity, of your personality, and there could be some situation again, some big thing that could be happening that is bringing all these details into surface. This full moon can also indicate major spotlight to you, Cancers, in your career, at your job, to you, where you are the focus, you are the attention. And so that's why I'm saying be careful, if you have power struggles, maybe with authority figures and with business partners and clients also that you thought are with you, but maybe they're not, with this full moon. There could be some things brought into surface here. Now, I also do want to say that there's a need for self-expression. There's a need for being very creative to resolve these things, because Pluto rules your 5th house of creativity, and Mars is also the ancient ruler of this house. So embrace your creativity. Trust your gut feeling, which you're very good at, Cancers, because you're the most intuitive sign. Trust your gut feeling. And know that things happen for a bigger reason. Just like I say for any other transit, this too shall pass. I don't want you to get scared. I just want to open your eyes and let you know that, this is a very important full moon for you. But me personally, whenever I've had squares and oppositions in my life, in transits, I have achieved 1,000 times more than I would have if I had trines and sextiles. So this could be wonderful opportunities to take yourself, your status, your career, your identity, your marriage, your partnerships to the next level by putting people in the right place and indicating and showing your personal power also and personal strength. Okay, Cancers, I wish you the best of luck. Please let me know in the comments how things are going in your life. And if you liked and resonated with this video, please remember to give it a like and to subscribe. Hello, dear Leo suns, moons, and risings. Welcome to your full moon in Aries astrology predictions. This full moon is happening on October 17 at around 7:25 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. But for you, Leos, this is happening in your 9th house. And the 9th house can indicate an opportunity or an ending when it comes to your higher education institutions, when it comes to your bachelor's degree, master's degree, any institution that you go to gain a lot of knowledge that lasts for a long time. This can indicate major completions that maybe do not feel comfortable, that can indicate a need to address something or be like very active behind the scenes to kind of complete it and put it to an ending. That it can also make you very busy, but to where you kind of need to prioritize a lot of things, okay? Because the ruler of this full moon, Mars, is in your 12th house in the sign of Cancer at 22 degrees, and the 12th house is the house of behind the scenes and like hidden things. And so for a lot of you Leos, there can be a need to do things behind the scenes to have some kind of completion in your 9th house matters. Now, this full moon is also receiving a square from Pluto at a wider degree at 29 degrees in your 6th house. That can indicate a lot of busyness, but also a lot of power struggles, maybe with people that you deal with on a daily basis, to where you want to do several tasks and you want them to do other things. And this can, even indicate people that are your colleagues, the people you work with, or people that you basically deal with on a daily basis, okay? There could be some power struggles of completing some major project that is going to be associated with like higher education. For obviously that's the case for some of you Leos, but could be the scenario definitely with this full moon. Now, if you're not in school and not interested in it, such as myself, I'm like happy to be done with school. This can indicate a completion associated with some kind of legal matter, because that's ruled by the 9th house. There's a need to pay a debt. There's a need that there's a need to address some kind of debt, doing so behind the scenes, that maybe could bring losses for some of you Leos, but it really needs to be done and needs to be completed this time so that you can get over with it and move on with your life, basically. This can also indicate completions associated with citizenship, international travels, visas. For some of you Leos, you may be wanting to travel abroad, but maybe there was some kind of roadblock, some kind of thing that you needed to do on your daily basis to be able to resolve it so that you are free to go in some international trip or to relocate internationally, go live somewhere else. But again, there is some kind of friction that's being created. There's some opportunity that may even involve some kind of power struggle or the need to show and express a lot of willpower to get this into an ending and into a completion. Now, the 9th house also is the house that rules our belief system, anything that we believe in, anything that we are passionate researching and learning about, and anything that we also get advice from others who have higher knowledge than we do. And so for a lot of you Leos, this can indicate major completion when it comes to some kind of belief system that is not serving you anymore, that you felt like maybe it was manipulating more than it was benefiting you with this full moon, and you kind of want to distance yourself from it. There could be some situation that brings some kind of detail into the surface that makes you make this drastic change into your life or drastic decision when it comes to your belief system. This can also indicate something major that is happening in the life of a mentor, of somebody that you consider as a teacher to you, somebody that you take advice from. There could be something that is happening to them behind the scenes or in their career or their job that kind of catches you also by surprise, but it puts the spotlight in that person. It makes you focus a lot on them. This is what I have for you Leos for this full moon. I'm kind of jealous of fire signs and air signs with this full moon because you're not getting those squares and oppositions like the other water and earth signs are doing. So it can be a bit lighter for you, but keep in mind that we still have squares and oppositions. So there are still situations that are very uncomfortable, okay? That are going to bring some kind of completion in your 9th house matters. Okay, I wish you the best of luck. Please let me know in the comments how things are going in your life. And if you want to show some support, please like, subscribe, share this with people that you feel are going to benefit from this video. And I will see you on the next one. Hello, dear Virgos, Virgo suns, moons, and risings. Welcome to your full moon in Aries astrology predictions. This full moon is happening on October 17 at around 7:25 a.m. and it's happening in your 8th house at 24 degrees. This can indicate a major completion and ending when it comes to shared resources and finances that you have with a partner or maybe a family member that brought a lot of power struggles and fights also, and you kind of want to put an end to it. Or there could be some major situation that brings this ending when it comes to shared resources and finances. And I'm talking about power struggles, I'm talking about, fights, because the ruler of this full moon, Mars, is in the sign of Cancer, where it does not feel comfortable. It is not that strong, but it's squaring this full moon from your 11th house. And so if you feel like the shared resources and finances were not serving you at all in your long-term plans and dreams for the future, then you may decide to end this, or it could be that your partner or family member that you have this shared resources and finances with decides to end them. This full moon can also indicate ending when it comes to some kind of debt, loan, mortgage, taxes, credit cards, something that you've owed to somebody else that again is not aligning you with your long-term dreams and goals for the future. It is not letting you breathe when it comes to your financial health, basically. So this could indicate some ending associated with it. Now the 8th house, where this full moon is also the house of traumas, of fears, and self-sabotaging patterns. There could be maybe some power struggles for some of you Virgos with your children. If you have children, there could be some fights, some misunderstandings, maybe some desire to show your true authority and power that is going to bring into surface even some fears and self-sabotaging patterns, okay? The full moon is illuminating your 8th house, is bringing to surface these things, but they could be happening because of these squares to Pluto and to Mars. You know, there is an action, there is a situation that brings into surface the illumination. And the 5th house where Pluto is sitting on is also the house of children. For others of you Virgos, if you don't have children, then this can indicate fears and traumas and self-sabotaging patterns and insecurities may be brought up to surface because of a friend, because of a group of friends with Mars in the 11th house, or maybe because of a romantic partner, somebody that you may be dating or flirting with, which are ruled by the 5th house where Pluto is sitting in. And there could be a lot of communication happening because Pluto also rules your 3rd house of communications. So a lot of activation when it comes to 8th house matters for a lot of you Virgos. Now, if you have had some kind of investment or making money through other people's money, then this can indicate some kind of completion to where you decide to move on without this kind of investment or these clients or, you know, these other people's money. Or it can indicate that this investment is finally closed, is finally completed. You know, you have the documentation in there that is done and completed. But, you know, there could be power struggles, a lot of them happening before this can be completed, okay? The 8th house is also the house of sexuality, of intimacy, the bedroom. For a lot of you Virgos, you may be deciding to express yourself in a more fiery way in the bedroom, especially with the square to Pluto in your 5th house, to where you want to express more power, more you want to be more in control, okay, in the bedroom with this full moon, and it's going to be very much spotlighted and brought into attention. Now, if you are in the banking industry, in advising, wealth management, some kind of insurance agent, maybe therapist, psychologist, researcher, then this can indicate some major completion in your industry, some major completion at your work, at your job, that involves, again, power struggles with individuals at your work, especially clients, especially the masses, you know, like a lot of people. This can include a lot of people with Mars, the ruler of the full moon in the 11th house. But that is necessary so that you can kind of move forward with your life, okay? This is what I've been saying to the other signs also. Whenever there's squares and oppositions, don't be afraid. They really just clear up a lot of mess. It looks chaotic and messy, but it does clear the mess in a faster way than the trine and sextile would. And you can definitely grow way more through oppositions and squares. So this full moon is definitely one of those times where you can achieve a lot in your 8th house matters. You can have some kind of completion that is very necessary for you. I wish you the best of luck, Virgos, for this full moon. Please, if you want to show some kind of support and if you like and resonate with my video, remember to give it a like, to subscribe, to share it with people that you think are going to benefit with this also. I will see you on the next one, okay? Take care. Hello Libra suns, moons and risings. Welcome to your full moon in Aries astrology predictions. This full moon is happening on October 17 at around 7:25 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, so please make sure to adjust it to your time zone. But for you Libras, this is happening in your 7th house at 24 degrees. Now, you are one of the signs that, of course, is the most impacted. This full moon is happening in your 7th house of your relationships, of your partnerships, on your one-on-one relationships, on your contracts, collaborations that you have with others. For a lot of you Libras, there may be a lot of power struggles that bring some kind of culmination and ending when it comes to some sort of relationship. That can be a romantic one, a business one, or some kind of collaboration or agreement, you know, contract that you had in place. And another reason why this is so impactful for you is because the sun is obviously in your 1st house, but the sun and the moon are receiving squares from the ruler of this full moon, Mars, in the sign of Cancer in your 10th house of career and public reputation. And Pluto, on the other hand, is squaring also this full moon at a wider degree, at 29 degrees in your 4th house. So you'll have an activation in the sky of your angular houses. So there could be a lot of things that are happening left and right for a lot of you Libras. That could be coming from authority figures, that from family members, even your emotional world from within, that are not letting you feel comfortable, and that are bringing some kind of culmination and ending, like a big one, that is also very necessary for you. Please look back to April 8th of this year when we had the eclipse in the sign of Aries. That brought some kind of beginning or initiation that could be completed at this time. That could be the scenario for some of you Libras. Now, going back to this full moon in the 7th house, receiving a square from Mars, this can indicate power struggles with authority figures, power struggles in your career, at work, at your job. You may need to be even confrontational and argumentative to defend yourself, to defend some kind of partnership and relationship. Okay, there is a need here to even protect your identity because the sun is in your 1st house, to protect yourself. You may be receiving again a lot of opposition and power struggles from others, especially in your one-on-one relationships, but also authority figures at work. Now, if you don't work, if you don't have a job, this can indicate a lot of willpower and desire to be in a certain way when it comes to your public status and how other people see you and what your partnerships are. And this can be romantic or business partnerships. Maybe you want to really collaborate with somebody in a certain way, but there could be some kind of opposition here. There's some kind of confrontation that is happening that is not maybe allowing you to do so, and things can turn out to be a bit differently, to where there is some kind of ending even to the power struggles. And they can turn out to be a good thing in the long run. It may not feel as good right now, but in the long run, who wants power struggles forever? You kind of want to be done with it. Unless you're a Scorpio, but you're a Libra, so yeah. Now, that was a joke, by the way. If you have some kind of Scorpio placement, that's a joke. But going back now to Pluto in your 4th house, that is going to leave soon, this house, okay? There could be a lot of power struggles happening with family members. There could be power struggles with a partner related to your home and your real estate and who's getting what and, sharing it, or even relocating, moving somewhere else. You feel like you're not on the same page. Again, there's power struggles. You want to go somewhere, your partner maybe does not want to, and so you come to these strong discussions with each other to be able to resolve it. There could also be a need here to relocate somewhere else where you feel like your career is going to flourish more, or it could be the other way around, to where you want to relocate to a place but your career does not allow you to do so. Your job or the status that you have in this place, like what people know you in this place in, you kind of feel like it's holding you back from moving to a place that you actually want to move. And because Pluto is the planet of transformation, that's why I'm talking about relocating and moving and transforming your home environment. But there's a lot of disagreements and things that need to be brought to surface first to be able to achieve this. Now, again, in a summary, the full moon for you Libras is happening in your 7th house. There's major completions here with some kind of romantic partner or a business partner that is due to power struggles. So please be careful if your intention is not to do this, okay? If your intention is to do this, and this is the time to kind of express yourself and go full on to express any kind of toxicity that this individual may have brought into your life, and you feel like you were not respected, you felt like your boundaries were not respected, this is the moment to kind of express those things. And I'm not saying that you should go and do these things. I'm just saying that this is the sky of that period of time, okay? So be careful, because this also depends on your personal chart. This is a general reading after all. I wish you the best of luck, Libras. Please let me know in the comments how things are going in your life. You have major activations here, so I really want to know what is going on, how things are turning out to be for you. And if you liked and resonated with this video, please remember to give it a like, to subscribe, to share it with people that you think are going to benefit from this also. Hello, dear Scorpio suns, moons, and risings. Welcome to your full moon in Aries astrology predictions. This full moon is happening on October 17 at around 7:25 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, so please make sure to adjust it to your time zone. But for you Scorpios, this is happening in your 6th house. For a lot of you Scorpios, this can indicate major completion and even ending to some kind of job, some kind of work environment that maybe was toxic and there were a lot of power struggles in there. This can also indicate a need to end some kind of relationship, maybe with a coworker that you did not have the same belief system with, you kind of disagreed in a lot of things and maybe everything with, and so there's a major ending to where you decide to distance yourselves after some kind of confrontation. And that is because the ruler of this full moon, Mars, is in the sign of Cancer, which can indicate emotional explosions, at 22 degrees in your 9th house. And so there is a disagreement here in the belief system, maybe knowledge, maybe power struggles associated with knowledge, to where you're like, I know better than you, and the other person is like, no, I know better than you. And so you come into this strong confrontation with each other. They can bring something into an ending, maybe a relationship at your job, at your work, with your colleague, due to power struggles. And the other thing about this full moon is that it's receiving some kind of square from Pluto at the wider degree. Pluto is at 29 degrees in the sign of Capricorn in your 3rd house. So a lot of power struggles in communication, okay? There's a lot of arguing here that brings something into an ending, okay? Now, I don't want to scare you, like, this could turn out to be really good, because if something has not been working for you, especially at work, and you feel like you were not growing, or there was a certain individual that was not letting you grow, then maybe this is supposed to happen so that you can have that ending and kind of move forward with your life, okay? And just like I've said to the other signs, when there's squares and oppositions, please don't be afraid, but take those as opportunities to move forward very quickly in your life, in a way, like in a very faster way compared to trines and sextiles, okay? Now, going back to this full moon, the 6th house is also the house of your health, of your medical exams, of your medicine and medical screening and vitamins, and your personal hygiene also. So for a lot of you Scorpios, you might find out something that brings your attention to your personal health. You may find something from a medical professional that is having you, change some kind of diet, bring some kind of diet into an ending, or some kind of workout routine that is not serving you anymore, that maybe is even toxic for you. I feel like this is very specific, but it could definitely be a scenario for some of you Scorpios. Now, for others of you, the 6th house is also the house of service, of taking care of other people, of paying off karma also. So for a lot of you Scorpios, there could be an indication here, a full moon, that can indicate an ending to some karmic debt, okay? Because the full moon is happening in your 6th house, the sun is in your 12th house, it rules these things. So an ending to a karmic debt that is not serving you anymore. You basically completed it, okay? I also want some of you Scorpios to look back to April 8th of this year. If you started and initiated something back then during the eclipse, this full moon can indicate some kind of ending associated with that. That could definitely be the scenario. Now, there's a lot of focus on your career also, Scorpios, because the sun rules your 10th house and your full moon is happening in the 6th house of your job. So there could even be a colleague that is like leaving your job, maybe an authority figure also that is leaving from your job, from your work, due to power struggles and maybe like toxic behavior also. That could be a scenario. Now, if you are in the service industry, maybe customer service, reporting services, maybe if you're a doctor, nurse, a nanny, housekeeper, accountant, analyst, then this can indicate some major completion when it comes to a project that required a lot of willpower, that required even power struggles with authority figures to be completed, to where maybe you were fighting about your ideas, they're fighting for theirs. This can indicate a completion, a culmination associated with it, to where you and everybody is done. But I do want to say, Scorpios, that this energy is a bit intense, okay? Like, it's not affecting you directly, like not as strongly, but it's definitely there. And it's happening in a house that deals with your day-to-day life. So you can feel the weight of this full moon. But just know that there are completions here that are necessary so that you can start afresh, okay? I really want you to keep that in mind. But I wish you the best of luck, Scorpios. Please let me know in the comments how things are going in your life, and if you like to resonate with this video, please remember to give it a like and to subscribe. Hello, Sagittarius suns, moons, and risings. Welcome to your full moon in Aries astrology predictions. This full moon, dear Sagittarius, is happening in your 5th house on October 17 at around 7:25 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, so please make sure to adjust it to your time zone. But for you, Sagittarius, this can indicate major completions in the lives of your children or of your child, if you have one, that kind of affects you also. This can indicate something that could be happening in their life that kind of makes you feel a bit fearful, a bit afraid, a bit insecure. And that is because the ruler of this full moon, Mars, is in the sign of Cancer in your 8th house that rules these things. Now, the 5th house is also the house of romance, of romantic partners, of flirtation, of crushes. For a lot of you Sagittarius, this can indicate somebody that is trying to flirt with you, but maybe in a way that feels like uncomfortable for you, and it kind of brings insecurities and fears up to surface that you don't feel very comfortable around. You may even feel some kind of fear. I'm sorry to say that, but this person could be a little weird in the way how they approach to you, so be careful. Now, the 5th house is also the house of fun and entertainment, and the way how you enjoy life is the house of leisure, of hobbies and creativity. So for a lot of you Sagittarius, you may complete some kind of project associated with your creativity, with hobbies and entertainment, that you may feel like it was not serving you anymore. Maybe it was toxic, maybe it was like it kind of harmed your self-confidence instead of strengthening it. And that is because Pluto is also squaring this full moon from your 2nd house of your self-confidence. Mars, on the other hand, is opposite Pluto in your 8th house that rules toxicity and like things that don't make you feel very comfortable in your own skin, okay? Now, going back to the 5th house where this full moon is happening, this can indicate completion when it comes to certain projects in your small business, if you have a small business. Maybe even power struggles when it comes to shared resources and finances that you have with somebody that is not maybe supporting you as you thought in your 5th house matters. So you decide to kind of leave this hobby or this project behind and move on with your life because maybe you're not receiving that support that you thought you would from some kind of partner or family member that was supporting you behind the scenes. And I'm saying behind the scenes because Pluto and Mars rule your 12th house. Now, lastly, if you are an actor, a musician, an artist, entertainer, if you are in any of these industries, also financial planner, speculation industry, then this can indicate some kind of culmination and also spotlight being brought at your job, at your work, that can stem from power struggles and maybe disagreements that could have been vocal in nature also with co-workers, with authority figures, even clients, that you feel like you kind of need to step away from and move away from. So that you can have a completion and kind of move forward with your life. Now, I do want to say that this full moon is in conjunction to Chiron. Chiron is sitting at 21 degrees, only 3 degrees away. So I would consider this as a conjunction that can bring it to surface wounds and traumas associated maybe with your childhood also. For a lot of you Sagittarius, you may be very expressive about it. Wherever the full moon is, there's an illumination. There's certain details that are being brought up to surface that can indicate, childhood memories and things associated with your home life. Now, this can also indicate spotlight when it comes to making children, when it comes to, one of your children's lives, those things that I just mentioned. But just like I said to the other signs, these are oppositions and squares, so they kind of call us for an action. Okay, the triads and sextiles, they're so subtle that we sometimes don't do anything about it, but with squares and oppositions we will do something about it. So this is kind of pushing us forward into completing something in the 5th house matters for you Sagittarius that is not serving you anymore, that was toxic and was not good for you. Or you might even need to show your power to even your children or to some kind of romantic partner, or to show it to yourself when it comes to your own self-expression and your own creativity. These are all things ruled by the 5th house. This is what I have for you Sagittarius for this full moon. Please let me know in the comments how things are going in your life. And if you liked and resonated with this video, please remember to give it a like and to subscribe. Hello dear Capricorn suns, moons and risings. Welcome to your full moon in Aries astrology predictions. This full moon, Capricorns, is happening on October 17 at around 7:25 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So please make sure to adjust it to your time zone. But it's happening in your 4th house at 24 degrees. For you Capricorns, this full moon is very important because it's happening in an angular house. The ruler of this full moon, Mars, is in the sign of Cancer, where it does not feel very comfortable at 22 degrees, forming a square to this full moon in your 7th house. Okay. On the other hand, we have Pluto in the last degrees of your sign in your 1st house, also squaring this full moon. So we kind of have a grand square in the sky. Grand cross, that's the right word. The grand cross in the sky in your angular houses. So this is very major and important for you Capricorns. Now, how can this play out for you? One of the possibilities for a lot of you Capricorns can be major endings with family members, because you may have felt like your boundaries were not respected and they were overstepped. If you've been through power struggles with family members, then this full moon can indicate some kind of fights and arguments that are even vocal in nature, that kind of brings something into completion and ending. And this will be, or can be, with family members. Now, for others of you Capricorns, Mars is in your 7th house. This can indicate disagreements with a partner, a romantic or a business partner, because of family members, due to your relationship with family members. And so these disagreements that you may have with a partner can cause some kind of ending in your relationships with family members. Okay. Now, the 4th house where this full moon is happening is also the house of your own emotional world. So for a lot of you Capricorns, you may bring up to surface certain emotions that you have been hiding before, that you are now bringing up to surface and kind of illuminating in a very maybe explosive way to your partner, because you feel like that person maybe is not respecting your identity and your personality. Because Pluto is in the 1st house, and Pluto wants you to be very original and fearless in expressing your identity and who you are as a person. And in these last degrees, it has matured you so much that you don't want to take any crap from anybody anymore. And so that's why we have this activation now in the sky. I feel like it all makes sense when it comes all together. So there can be power struggles with a family member, there can be power struggles with a partner, due to you feeling like your emotions are not being respected and they are not valid, they are not valued with this full moon. So the illumination is happening in the 4th house of emotions. Now, for others of you Capricorns, this full moon in the 4th house can indicate a completion when it comes to relocating somewhere else, getting a new house, getting a new apartment, relocating to another country, to another state, to another city, or simply changing places that can feel a bit uncomfortable in the beginning. I mean, it should be normal, right? When you move to somewhere else, you should feel very uncomfortable being in this new place, and there's maybe not a lot of expenses, and maybe disagreements with like the people that you're living with because of this stress that comes out of it. So that could be the scenario that could play out for a lot of you Capricorns. Yes, you can complete moving to somewhere else, but this completion can bring some kind of tension with a partner or a family member, associated with this ending, with this completion of some kind of relocation project. And I also want to say that there is a need here for a lot of you Capricorns to validate your feelings, to bring them to surface, and to kind of make other people understand your boundaries and where you felt hurt, because the full moon is in conjunction to Chiron. They are both in your 4th house. Chiron is the wounded healer, and this illumination can bring to surface where you were wounded, where you feel like you were not comfortable and not respected, so that you can basically heal that, okay? But there's again tension here with this grand cross in the sky that can bring those necessary discussions to your life, okay? Now I wish you the best of luck, Capricorns. Please let me know in the comments how things are going in your life. You are one of the most impacted signs, so I really want to know how things are going for you. And if you want to show some support for my work, please like, subscribe, and share this with somebody that you think is going to benefit from this. But I wish you the best of luck, and I will see you in the next video. Hello, dear Aquarius suns, moons, and risings. Welcome to your full moon in Aries astrology predictions. This full moon, dear Aquariuses, is happening on October 17 at around 7:25 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, but it's happening in your 3rd house at 24 degrees. This can indicate some kind of news that you may receive, dear Aquariuses, that is a bit uncomfortable in nature due to the square that this full moon is receiving from its own ruler, Mars, which is sitting in the sign of Cancer in your 6th house of your day-to-day routines and day-to-day responsibilities. So you may be receiving some kind of news, some kind of message, email, text that bring some kind of disruption in your daily routines, okay, in your daily responsibilities that you have to deal with to complete basically your tasks. Now, this can also indicate some kind of completion when it comes to certification, when it comes to some kind of learning that you may have been focusing on. There is a completion here, but that also either brings more responsibilities in your life, especially at your work, at your job, or to where it makes you so busy that you feel like, maybe your health is not going that well, or you're not able to work out as much as you want to. So there's some friction here that's being created with the square. On the other hand, Pluto is also squaring this full moon from the last degree in your 12th house, which can indicate for some of you Aquariuses some kind of communication that may come from an authority figure that kind of brings into fruition power struggles that you may have with co-workers or this authority figure that makes you feel as if you're not being heard, or as if you need to communicate something major, but you may be doing so not in a very nice way, okay? Because we have squares and oppositions between the planets of willpower and power in itself, okay? We have Mars and Pluto activated here, and the full moon is in Aries in itself. So maybe there's a lot of power struggles again with authority figures and co-workers at your work. A lot of communication, a strong communication happening during this full moon. Now, the 3rd house where this is happening is also the house of journalism, short distance travel, of communication jobs. If you are in any of these industries, then this can indicate some major completion that is happening behind the scenes, that is also being initiated by somebody that you're not aware of, that is behind the scenes. There's a completion here of a certain project if you are in any of these industries. And I talk about behind the scenes because Pluto is the ruler of your 10th house, and Mars is the ancient ruler of your 10th house, which rules authority figures. And Pluto is sitting in that 12th house of hidden things. So there is somebody behind the scenes that is kind of ending something for you when it comes to your third house matters, okay? And this can come in the form of a message, this can come in the form of a text, of an email, some type of communication, some kind of change, drastic change to your daily responsibilities with Mars in that sixth house of yours. That makes you feel uncomfortable. It may come from power struggles, okay? The desire to show who's the strongest and who is more intelligent and smart with this activation in the third house. I feel like that's so specific for you Aquariuses, but this can definitely be the scenario with this full moon. I do want to say that you're an air sign, and so this is not as impactful as it is with Capricorn and Libra and Aries and Cancer. You are more on the safer side, but there is still tense energy in the sky, okay? I also want to say that to you. But let me know in the comments how things are going in your life, Aquariuses. I wish you the best of luck, and if you liked and resonated with this video, please remember to show some support, to give it a like, to subscribe, to share it with people that you think are going to benefit something from this. I will see you on the next one. Take care. Hello, dear Pisces suns, moons, and risings. Welcome to your full moon in Aries astrology predictions. This full moon is happening on October 17 at around 7:25 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, so make sure to adjust it to your time zone. But for you Pisces, this is happening in your second house. There is a lot of spotlight that's being put on your personal finances here, Pisces, and also your spending style. For a lot of you, there is a completion. Some of you may be removing some kind of financial resource from your life to where you're not going to do that anymore. You decide to do maybe something else in the future, and so you're kind of completing it, kind of removing that away from you. Now, as I mentioned, the second house is also the house of spending, and if you have made like a major expenditure then this full moon can bring that into surface. You may realize that maybe you have spent more than you thought, and so there's a lot of focus happening here in your personal finances, okay? And another reason why that is so important is because as the full moon is in your second house, the sun is in your eighth house, so there may be some kind of discussion here between your personal finances and shared resources that you have with a partner or with a family member. There's a friction that's being created here when it comes to your finances, okay? Now, another reason for that is because Mars is the ruler of this full moon, and Mars is in the sign of Cancer, not very strong in Cancer, at 22 degrees in your fifth house, which is the house of your creativity and your expression. So this can indicate a need to complete or finish some kind of financial resource, because you're feeling as if you're not expressing yourself freely. You're feeling as if you are not being authentic for yourself, okay, Pisces? This can bring that very much into surface with this full moon. Now, at the same time, Pluto is also squaring this full moon at from the 29th degree of Capricorn in your 11th house. You may feel like you are not aligned with your long-term dreams and goals in the way how you're making money right now, okay? And that's why this full moon is happening here with such friction, with such opposition and squares to the willpower planets. Mars is the ancient ruler of Scorpio, and Pluto is the modern ruler of Scorpio, and they both represent transformation and willpower. So there's a lot of need for you, Pisces, to end something financially that is not serving you anymore, because you don't feel like it's realigned with your goals and dreams for the future, and because you feel like you're not being as much joyful and playful in your life. You're feeling maybe as this thing that is making your money is sucking the life out of you, okay? I feel like this is very specific, but could definitely be the scenario for a lot of you, Pisces. Now, the second house also rules your self-confidence and self-worth. For a lot of you, Pisces, you may have some power struggles with one of your children or with your friends, because they are somehow toxic in the way how they approach to you, that it kind of damages your self-confidence and your self-esteem. So there could be discussions that could be even vocal in nature, disagreements and arguments, to where you feel like you need to stand your ground because your self-worth is being attacked from left and right, okay? We have Pluto in one hand in your 11th house of friendships, and also Mars in your fifth house of your children. If you don't have children, the 5th house also represents romantic partners. It could indicate that there's a romantic partner that kind of triggers something in your self-confidence that brings it into the surface, okay? Brings some kind of power struggle and some kind of need to stand your ground and respect yourself and show it to the other people also. But this is what I have for you, Pisces, for this full moon in the sign of Aries. Please let me know in the comments how things are going in your life, and if you liked and resonated with this video, please remember to show some support, to give it a like, and to subscribe, and to share it maybe with somebody that you think is going to benefit from this. I wish you the best of luck.